Bleached brows are not new, but God, are they everywhere, so let's talk about it. Just like any other beauty or fashion trend, eyebrow trends can actually tell us a lot about the time that they exist in. More recently, we've seen trends like soap brows, thanks to brands like Glossier, and I guess soap, kind of stemming from the no makeup look. But prior to that, we've also gone through bushy brows, thin pencil brows, bold sculpted brows, weird straight caterpillary brows, and everything in between. So I thought where better to start than with a little history behind bleached brows. We will try to tackle who, what, when, where, why, and how in the next while. It's actually a great way to research or just Google things. Anyways, so during the Middle Ages in Europe, which spans from roughly the years 500 to 1400/1500, people began to either pluck away or bleach their eyebrows, and by the Elizabethan era this was an extremely popular thing to do. During this time, women often either had very thinly plucked eyebrows with high arches or just none at all. The goal in this case was to create a larger surface area for the forehead. Big foreheads, all the rage. That's what they wanted at the time, I guess. The look of the time seems to be no brows or like barely there brows with very pure and innocent looking makeup. So very white, thick makeup. Yes, very Eurocentric. Love it. Walnut oil was often used by parents as well. They kind of like rubbed it on the eyebrow area to prevent brows from growing at all on their children. Eliminate the problem. No eyebrows in the first place. Seems like an easier way to go. No kids, you don't get eyebrows. Historically, eyebrows have been one of many tools that have been used to reject societal norms in visual form on the face. In a 2021 article, ID refers to an example of this, which are flappers in the post-war 1920s context. Just in case you don't know, which I didn't really know the exact definition, a flapper was defined or is defined as a fashionable young woman intent on enjoying herself and flouting conventional standards of behavior. So during this time, young women were rejecting the conservative norms of gender and class through changing their style, often wearing shorter skirts, cutting their hair short, having intense eye makeup, and very thin eyebrows, all in the favor of political and sexual liberation. You also can't really talk about eyebrows without addressing underground club culture. Another 2021 ID article talked about politics and performance in relation to experimental aesthetics of the new romantics in the 80s and 90s club kids. Their looks often referenced ravers, post-punk, and sad clowns, going for like an androgynous and looks that defied gender stereotypes of the time, which didn't really change that much. As in, gender stereotypes are still very much alive, is what I meant by that. Yeah, much like most trends that have been reignited, there's generally quite a lot of history behind them. It's not just for looks. There are reasons why people did things. Yeah, it's quite common to see as well now that the rejection of conventional beauty standards still is very prevalent in drag and makeup communities today. So basically we can see that eyebrows have played a part in creating communities and subverting the norm since just forever. And just as celebrities and influencers today influence trends, back then, which is back when, I will tell you soon, stars like Josephine Baker showcased the dramatizing effect that drawn-on eyebrows could have. And Clara Bow, it's probably Bow, isn't it? Her character in the 1927 movie hit movie, by the way, also popularized flapper makeup. And although it might seem like bleached brows and mainstream celebrities haven't really crossed over until the last couple of years, when I came across this article from People magazine, which dates back to 2016, it's quite clear that even in the mainstream, it's kind of been around for a while, but just not to the extent that it is this year and maybe last year. Addressed the so-called biggest beauty trend at the Met Gala in 2016, which is crazy. Like, it just seems like a lifetime away. But anyways, the article features celebrities like Katy Perry and Kim Kardashian with no brows at the 2016 Met Gala, of which the theme was Manus Ex Machina. I think that's how you say it. Sorry, fashion in the age of technology. But yeah, there was also celebrities like Lily Aldridge who had gold eyebrows that matched her Michael Kors gown. So there was a few different varieties of eyebrow messing about, even in 2016 at the Met Gala. In a September 2021 article, W Mag suggested that bleached eyebrows began trending again due to DIY culture. We aren't really talking about anything new here in terms of looks or changes that you can make to your appearance, but essentially they were arguing in this article that the pandemic was one of the main driving forces behind people experimenting with and changing their appearances at home. People have always been shaving their heads, bleaching their brows, and, cutting their own bangs, fringes, though I guess it seems pretty natural that all of these acts became extremely common while we were all stuck at home. Bored. People were bored. And bored of how they looked, probably. WMAG also touched on the effects that social media filters have played in spreading the bleached brow trend. People were trying on the filter and then making a TikTok about how they liked how the filter looked and then just deciding to bleach them, taking us along for the ride. And of course, there were mixed results, some people being, happy, and then other people being kind of warning other people not to bleach them just because it looks good on a filter. Mixed results anyways. Rachel Gilson, who is the research behind Hair Historian, stated that after times of crisis, there's often a desire for looks which are more creative and which make a statement. And I think this kind of just summarizes that common urge that people really felt during the pandemic to change their looks. And again, it's not isolated to times of crisis, but it was more prevalent. And it was a crisis. Boredom is a crisis. As mentioned in an article from Dazed Beauty, in 2021, bleached eyebrows had well and truly entered the mainstream. They really had. With celebrities like Lizzo and again Kim Kardashian taking it on. It was actually this, I'll put it up, magazine cover of Kim that kind of made me feel like I had to make this video, which was from this year. But yeah, I just thought surely this is left celebrity culture now. But no, it is still here. And it was also problematic for other reasons, but that's... yeah. In 2021, Pinterest reported a 160% year-on-year increase in the number of searches for bleached eyebrows. And while, once again, there have always been people bleaching their eyebrows, it made sense that this beauty trend had re-emerged in the mainstream during the pandemic because you could only really see people's eyes and eyebrows. You were walking around basically just... that's all you were. Your eyes and your eyebrows. Your mouth and your nose just didn't matter. Your mask did matter though. Gosh. I remember when I lost my favourite mask that I sewed myself. It was a really sad day. I felt like it gave me personality. This is all making sense, right? Anyways, a 2021 article from The Guardian touches on a quote made by Professor Andrew Groves, who curated an exhibition that looked back on the time spent wearing face masks during the pandemic, and the exhibition was titled Undercover. Groves stated that the imposition of masks quickly focused attention on the eyes to communicate with others in public spaces. And another quote by Groves, "It was a coping mechanism to help us deal with an enforced dress code and the loss of body autonomy." So yeah, essentially feeling like you have less control over your own appearance and control over your own body. People felt like they had to make a change. So yeah, I feel like it sort of touches on what we were talking about before, but just said much more nicely. Nice. He also went on to say that it creates an ethereal, slightly alien look. But even though it has now gone mainstream, Groves talked about links to the Elizabethan era where it was a trend to make the face and brows basically as light as possible. And the lengths that people went to back then to kind of achieve this look is also just a whole nother topic in and of itself. Being poisoned, lead poisoning, it was just very common. Hair loss, death if you used whatever they used at the time to achieve that look. Beauty is pain, but also not, it just shouldn't be. I'm glad that nowadays we can bleach eyebrows without dying, but still be careful. Still be careful if you do that. Essentially, every time I think that this trend is kind of dying down, it just pops back up. It just pops right back up. And October 2022, did I just say that 3 times? I think I did. 2022. Anyways, article from The Beauty Crew covered the trend again, including more examples of celebrities that had bleached their brows. The American Dream cover that I mentioned lightly before apparently resulted in a 212% increase in searches for the term bleached eyebrows, or bleached brows, on TikTok, after Kim shared a behind the scenes or like a snapshot from the photo shoot. You could see her brows. A news.com.au article which had such a good headline. It really sucked me in. And the headline was, Kendall Jenner ditches eyebrows, frees nipples at Met Gala 2022. And it basically just talked about what she was wearing and how she had no brows. Actually, the reason why I'm talking about it in the first place is because supposedly that look then kind of made it re-trend again online, and then that's why the TikTok bleached brow filter was made. So we've kind of gone a little bit backwards, sorry. So then the filter, then the people were like doing it in real life, as in they were always doing it in real life, but more people were doing it in real life because of the filter. I think I was also sucked in by that headline because it just was a bit nostalgic, a bit like hashtag free the nipple. Like, I think, that was such a thing. I don't know how old I would have been when that was a thing, but it's also great. Free and then ditch. It's like good words, good words. We've all probably heard of comments along the lines of everything is trending, so nothing's really trending at all, which is of course due to capitalism, globalization, the internet, and it's just kind of the reality of what it means to be alive in 2022. So I guess I'm just curious to see what reemerges from the past, given that it feels kind of impossible to create new concepts in a world that's just overrun with visuals and ads and products and services and clothes and shoes and just everything is just, yeah. I think if I had to guess, I think we'll just be revisiting looks and trends that have once existed, but in new ways, new, fresh ways, hopefully. And I think it will be nice to talk about where these things come from rather than just mindlessly participating or observing. I think it's fun. History is fun. Anyways, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to give the video a like, and if you would like to see more similar videos, you can subscribe to my channel. It's taken me a bit of time to figure out what kind of videos I want to make, so I just kind of try a bit of everything, but I think this felt kind of the most natural in terms of like the research stage and the talking, filming stage. Hopefully we'll be doing a bit more of these, because yeah, I think I just like thinking about and looking at and maybe analysing things a little, just a little. So yeah, have a nice rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.